Okay, Recons video on Sunday, the 30th of October 2022. It's just gone 4:20 AM Chicago time. Do hope you are doing well. So, time for another weekend futures market recap where I go through 15 of the largest futures markets and I show you what I am seeing on my charts. But before getting to the charts, just a quick admin note to say I finally have access to my MailChimp account. Managed to lock myself out using the two-factor authentication a couple of weeks ago, and MailChimp's the service I use to distribute emails to let you know a new video is out on YouTube. So if you've not seen a notification from me for the last 2 weeks, that is why. But anyway, finally got that sorted, so you should be receiving emails this weekend. Anyway, what a fascinating week. We had setups at the end of last week. I was pretty bullish on pretty much every chart I saw that I showed you in the video last week, and we had a super strong week. And we kind of ended it strong as well. On Thursday we had the possibility of a little bit of a dip, but then on Friday we kind of closed extremely strong. So I'll show you what I'm seeing on my charts. First of all, before getting to the each of the tip bar charts, let's go through the E-mini charts daily down to 15-minute. And show you that, and this is what I'm talking about on Friday. This is our traditional view of the better indicators, where we kind of split things into two panels side by side. Left hand side, everything to do with volume, better momentum below the price bars, and better pro-am on the price bars. The momentum indicator is a volume based momentum indicator, and then better pro-am uses the average trade size to identify professional and amateur activity, and professionals in blue, amateurs in yellow. And the right hand side, everything to do with price. Better sine wave is calculating the cycles and trends in 3 different time frames, and that allows us to plot our support and resistance lines on the price bars themselves, and breaks of those support and resistance get us kind of trending signals. But this is the activity on Friday, which was really important. Wednesday into Thursday we came into a little bit of resistance here, cyclical resistance on the lowest time frame on the daily chart. There we had a little white dot print, which is resistance. It was a pullback, so there was a possibility that we were going to play out a pullback to end of trend kind of move. But on Thursday into Friday, really strong activity, and we closed above that pullback resistance level. So the line has now been printed in red to show we're now in a confirmed uptrend. And the next place that we'll be looking for resistance is when the intermediate time frame lines kind of come together. So that was super important on the daily chart. Going down a couple of time frames, so the 135-minute chart, you can see here we've had this support coming on the highest time frame, blue professional bars at the lows, weak kind of momentum signals, and we're about to bust up into an uptrend move on this 135-minute chart. So we're above here on the pullback level, and we're going to get above this trailing stop on better pro-am, so it'll give us a red background just like we had here, kind of confirmed uptrends. So that's all good. 45-minute chart, yep. Wednesday into Thursday we had these little Rambo patterns, so that move was being led by the amateurs, which gave us Rambo patterns here. So Rambo stands for potential reversal of an amateur breakout, RAMBO, and it just means that the average trade size is low coming into those highs, which means the activity is being driven by the amateurs. The amateurs often get wrong-footed, as we can see here, right at the lows, a little Rambo pattern kind of down there. And we had some weakness kind of Wednesday into Thursday, but with the kind of overnight activity, Thursday into Friday, bang, we bottomed there and we started off super strong into Friday's activity. So we're above these resistances on the 45-minute chart, confirmed kind of uptrend here. What I'd be looking for a turnaround is kind of blue professional bars to come in, maybe a little bit of a blow-off move, maybe this is some exhaustion patterns and some end of trends here, but we're breaking above these resistances, which just shows we're in an uptrend. And then coming down to the 15-minute chart here, you can see here with Friday's activity, yep, Rambo patterns on this lowest time frame here. We're putting a pullback to end of trend on the lowest time frame, but we're still breaking above resistances on the low and intermediate time frames kind of again. So it's interesting, we might have to these might have to play out to at least another pullback to end of trend on the low, maybe the intermediate time frame. So I'd suggest any dips that we're going to see in the next day or two Let's see if we get kind of professionals stepping in just like we had here. This little dip gave us a step signal, and we continued in this uptrend. So hopefully you'll remember from last week's video, I was pretty bullish on pretty much all of my charts, and we've had a strong week since then. If we go to the tip bar charts now, this is the Emini, and this is why I was kind of bullish with last week's activity. The weeks are marked with vertical yellow lines. So the end of this week is the vertical yellow line here, and the beginning and the end of last week, beginning of this week, end of last week is shown here. And those are the signals that we got. Whole bunch of exhaustion, sell, bullish divergent signals come in here. We got an oversold condition with the background in red. We break above the trailing stop with professional activity here, and that's what gives us our triple signals. This is the simplified view of the charts where we try and get everything on one chart, and we can generate these triple signals where all three non-correlated indicators kind of go off together. So that was Thursday into Friday last week. Bang, we had a super strong rally. Opened the weekend, the Sunday night into the Monday with quite a lot of volatility there, but we just kept on grinding higher. And then what was that, kind of Tuesday into Wednesday, we had some short signals here into this kind of sell-off move here, and this is where you can see the professionals stepped in. Exhaustion sell, spike down low, bullish divergence comes in, the professionals kind of buying that dip down. We know they're buying because we break back above the highs of those blue professional bars. So they were active there. The trading stop, better pro-am signals goes the other way, and we can get another triple signal there. So with the end of Friday's activity, we have some blue professional bars into those highs, but we don't have the other conditions to signal a turnaround. We don't have overbought condition with a grey background. We don't have exhaustion buy and bearish divergence. So any little dips, until we see those kind of conditions, we're not going to get reversal signals, and any little dips will presumably kind of be bought. So that was the Emini that was kind of super strong last week and has continued on. 10-year, same thing. At the end of last week, we had triple signals go off, bang, and the market just kind of raced away. Into these highs, we've had reversal signals here going short at these highs. Exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, whole bunch of blue professional bars at those highs. And we're currently kind of showing weakness in the 10-year notes at the moment. And let's look at some of the currencies as well. Currencies have been interesting this week, kind of backwards and forwards, up and down and up and down. And currently they're kind of weak. So at the end of last week, we had all the risk-on currencies signal long. You can see there's a whole series of triple patterns kind of going off on the euro down here Thursday into Friday. Exhaustion sell, bullish divergence. We break above the professional bars here, and we're oversold, so we get our triple signals, and then we had a really strong kind of start to the week. But now we've signaled short for the last couple of days, so I'm currently holding on to a short euro trade, which it's kind of working out at the moment, but I'm just worried about this exhaustion sell pattern kind of down here. We've not had bullish divergence, not a whole heap of blue professional bars, considering that's the number of blue professional bars that were selling out at those highs just above 101. No oversold condition with a red background, so I'm still holding it at the moment, but not convinced that that's going to work out. What have we done? British pound, same thing. End of last week, whole bunch of triple signals into these highs, and similar thing to the euro. Exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, broken the trailing stop, it's overbought, and we've had short signals there, but we've come back up above these blue professional bars, so I'm going to be looking at that pretty closely as well. Aussie dollar, not sure what the Aussie did. So 2 weeks ago we had kind of long signals, and we've had nothing at the end of last week, but then this week similar signals to the euro and British pound. Exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, and we've had short signals here, and the bounce in the Aussie has been very weak, and there's no blue professional bars kind of coming in there. So that's kind of good for short euro, British pound, long US dollar at the moment. Japanese yen, so much intervention by the Japanese central bank. It's difficult to kind of call these signals. We had this great little signal last week kind of catching the low, almost exactly kind of down here, and we had this super strong rally into the end of the week. But then look at this volatility that we had, and I think that was central bank intervention that was happening there. Just super extreme. But blue professional bars kind of coming in on the dip on the low here. exhaustion sell, bullish divergence. The Pro-Am trailing stop isn't broken, and we continue to rally, and we had another kind of long signal here. So not tradable. I don't know, with Japanese yen, just because of that central bank intervention, you just don't know what's going to go on. I'd rather trade a a forex market that's a little bit kind of cleaner than the Japanese yen at the moment. So there we go. That's the currencies, equities, and bonds. Let's have a look. Precious metals and Bitcoin. So gold at the end of last week again signaled long, exhaustion, sell, bullish divergence. Had a little bit of a rally there. A whole bunch of blue professional bars kind of taking profits here, 1679 kind of area, but it didn't really have exhaustion buy ending that move. So I don't think this is, we're not in a downtrend. I would say what I'd be waiting for on gold is the next area where the blue professional bars kind of step in. So maybe they've just temporarily taken profits here, and we're waiting for the next kind of area for them to step in there. Silver, you might recall, we've had problems with this chart because we never got exhaustion sell on the downside. So we're down here at these lows, kind of 18, whatever that was down there. Whole bunch of blue professional bars kind of came in. It was oversold with a background in red, but we never got an exhaustion sell pattern here with blue dots and then a bullish divergence and so on. We just took off from those lows with exhaustion buying here and here, just breaking us out of that channel down here under $19. And so ever since then, all of these triple signals have looked a little bit strange because we never got that, because it would reverse some of these signals, and we would have been getting a long signal kind of down here if we'd have had that exhaustion pattern. So a little wary of the silver chart right now until those things are kind of are sorted out. But again, waiting for blue professional bars to step in. Bitcoin. I've still sticking with this 4,500 tip bar chart on Bitcoin. At the end of last week, I think we'd signaled in long on Bitcoin. It was a little bit volatile. See where the last signal then? Yeah, that was a long signal, but we came back down to 18. Blue professional bars kind of stepped in, and we kind of took off. Then we had a little signal short here, but this signal didn't trip the other way because, let me show you this. We had everything except bullish divergence. We had exhaustion sell. We had oversold. We broke above the blue professional bars, but we never got a bullish divergence signal in there. So that's why they didn't kind of flip the other way for a really nice rally in Bitcoin up to 21. And then up here, we didn't really have blue professional bars at those highs, so the trailing stop was so far away we didn't get a short signal at that point. But on the retrace here, leading into the weekend's activity, and more blue professional bars kind of come in here. Yep, that was a nice signal. Exhaustion sell, bullish divergence, blue professional bars step in. It was oversold on better sine wave here, and that's why we got our triple signal. We've continued up, and again at 21 here, no blue professional bars, no blue professional bars here. They picked it up on the retrace here, and they're picking it up on the retrace there. So that's interesting for Bitcoin to keep on kind of breaking ahead. We've kind of been range bound in Bitcoin for months. In that kind of, I don't know what the low we reached, maybe 17.5 or something, but around the 18 to 20 range we've just been batting backwards and forwards, but finally we kind of got a break this week. So crude's come back again. So again, end of last week we had exhaustion sell, blue professional bars. We had a triple signal go off, and we've had a nice rally from the 83 levels up to almost 90 here. No exhaustion buy at the highs there, a little bit overbought, and that's why we've kind of come back there at that point. But those signals still working out until we get an exhaustion pattern. So let's see. Looks like blue professional bars stepping in again to pick it up at 88s, and so we're going to drive through to test 92s on crude. Natural gas. Now natural gas has said that it super sold off. We had a really good signal a couple of weeks ago at those highs, but we were looking for a break at the end of last week because we had exhaustion sell, bullish divergence, not a lot of blue professional bars here, and we did get a signal here, but because there weren't a large number of blue professional bars, not particularly convincing. But we have had a signal short here with blue professional bars, those highs, exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, and it's overbought with a background in grey. That's why we've had a signal kind of short there on natural gas. So crude strong, natural gas weak, and copper. What's copper doing? Yep, so at the end of last week we had triple signals go off on this retrace here, more triple signals go off, and I know this has sold off pretty hard from 3.5 down to, well, it's not a super big move in copper there, from 355 down to 345. Not a big move there. It looks big on the chart, but in copper terms that's not a huge move, 10-cent move. So no exhaustion buy at those highs, some profit taking by the professionals up there though. So that's not as clean on that chart. And then the ags. When I looked at these earlier on today, not really much going on ags. We've had some triple signals here, but it's a little bit junky. And I've been saying the last couple of weeks with the ags, it's like I was playing those a month or so ago because we had kind of nice signals kind of coming out of them. But we're waiting, I think, for a bigger move in the commodities there. So let me just roll through those quickly. So that's the corn chart, showing triple signals long, but it's not particularly convincing. Soybeans, triple signals short at this point. That was a nice kind of move, come back up to test. And we've come back down, and then wheat's kind of bottoming down here. Triple signals long at the lows down here, and we're kind of coming in to test these lows each time. Blue professional bars kind of coming in, but no really strong trending moves yet. Let me see if I can just pull up a corn chart on the daily. So this is a longer term chart for corn. It's a 367-minute chart, and there are exactly three 367-minute bars in a day session of corn. Slightly different view than you'd normally see on my charts, just playing with some other setups here, but you can see the resistance kind of coming in on all three time frames here. End of trend on the intermediate time frame, its resistance on the highest time frame. We're also kind of resistance on the daily chart here, and we're about to break down these levels, having had exhaustion buy, bearish divergence. You can just see that was the strong trending move we had in corn, topped out, sold off super hard. We've come back to this level to test another exhaustion pattern, bearish divergence, similar to these kind of patterns, kind of topping out, and it just is looking as if it wants to break through this kind of 672 level to take us into a big kind of swan dive move in corn. So just wary of that, and so bigger picture on the ags, I think there's something kind of setting up. So I wouldn't be I'd be looking for signals on the tick bar charts that kind of line up with those longer term kind of almost daily charts on those ag commodities. But anyways, there we go, quick a rip around the charts. So for me, looking forward next week, the most interesting charts, crude, to see if that rally kind of continues up into the 90s. The E-mini, any dips to be bought by the professionals, and what the direction of the US dollar is going to be, because we've had weakness over the last couple of days, euro, British pound. So is that going to continue for this week? Currently I'm short euro, so I would like that to be the case, but we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, there we go. Hope your trading is going well, and looking forward to next week.